Again, this is Stacy Mallory, your host. We are live on LA Chargers Talk 4630 podcast. We're streaming on YouTube and Twitter. Before this is Raiders week. You have a big game coming this weekend. It's Las Vegas Raiders. Go to SoFi Stadium for a game this Sunday. Before we do, I just want to say if you guys out there enjoy the podcast and if you like to support us and what we're doing, appreciate if you would press like or give it a thumbs up. And as always, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future podcasts we release in the future. Before we jump into this, I need to set the stage before I have a guest that's going to come on that's a diehard Raiders fan, and we're going to discuss the state that we're in right now. So without no further ado, let's jump right on into it. A few years ago, the National Football League was conducting an investigation on the Washington Commanders and some type of issue involving Daniel Snyder. But in the process of all that, they found some troubling emails from John Gruden that ended up getting them in a lot of trouble. But by then, Mark Davis moved on from John Gruden and hired former Patriots offense coordinator Josh McDaniels. 15 games into the season last year, starting quarterback David Carr was let go with just 2 games left in the season, and they traded for Jimmy Garoppolo later on, who is now the starting quarterback with the Raiders. Also, let me just jump on into it. The Raiders continue with a lot of drama that been following the team for several years. 4 years ago, the Raiders cut receiver All-Pro Antonio Brown after training camp filled with bizarre behavior, and the Raiders ended up voiding his guarantee for the rest of his contract and cutting him. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Chandler Jones posted all kind of Instagram posts and Twitter tweets about the general manager and Josh McDaniels. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to speculate on what's going on, but it doesn't appear he will be back anytime soon. So with that being said, we now welcome to LA Chargers 4630 podcast, Charles, live from Elizabeth, New Jersey. How you doing, Charles? What's up, Charles? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. How you doing, man?
Good, good.
Yeah, that's good, man. Listen, before we jump into it, um, there's a lot of people that's out there that they don't know who you are, but they know you're a Raider fan because I didn't already set the stage already. So just tell us how long you've been a Raiders fan and what led up to you becoming a Raiders fan. I know they went from Oakland to Los Angeles, back to Oakland, now they're in Las Vegas, and I know you was there for that whole journey.
Oh man, I've been a Raiders fan since 1980,
Mm,
back in grammar school.
mm,
One day I'm watching football, and
mm-hmm.
I'm watching. I turned on to the Raiders was playing Seattle,
Okay,
and I started watching Howie Long,
right.
and that silver and black brother. It's just and the way they was playing, but they was playing like criminals. You know what I'm saying? So I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, man. And then I just started doing the history on them or whatever, man. And I
Hmm.
just fell in love with them, man.
Yeah, I remember the Marcus Allens, the Tim Browns, the Howie Long,
Yeah,
Lyle Alzado, Art Shell, Jim Plunkett. I remember. Listen, we was all
yes,
in the same
sir.
division.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but listen, it's a lot that's going on with the Raiders organization now, and I want you to touch bases on it. But before we do, I just want to play one clip from Davante Adams after the loss to the Steelers last week, and let me tell me what your thoughts on after that.
Don't act like it's all crazy. It's week 3, but I don't got time to wait around. I mean, it's not a personal thing. I mean, it is a personal thing, but it ain't just about me. But I mean, it's not my mentality to sit here and try to take all season to figure it out. You use these early games like this to establish our identity, and we not doing things the right way to establish a winning culture.
What do you make of that?
I make it a lot of frustration.
Mm,
People have to understand Devontae Adams. One, it was a couple of reasons why he came to the Raiders. One was Derek Carr.
mm,
Okay. Um, Two, you know, you're talking about, because in all honesty, people don't understand he could have stayed in Green Bay because Green Bay offered him the same money that the Raiders did. All right. He was frustrated with Aaron Rodgers because he didn't know what Aaron Rodgers wanted to do. Every year he or I might retire or I'm staying. So it was up in the air with that.
Right.
And a lot of frustration is where, he went from a winning organization to this.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand. I mean, it's like I said, it's not about the money sometimes, man. It's about winning. They want to win.
I don't think he knew at the time that he was walking into this with the Raiders. The Raiders looked like at the time they were climbing on
Yeah,
their way up, and that's why he went there. I think if this had come to the surface before that decision was made, he probably wouldn't have. I'm sure that so it really kind of sucks. It really do, because that things didn't work out, because you guys were stacked on the offensive side. You had Renfro, who was 1,000-yard receiver. You had Waller, even though he have a little injury history. When he's healthy, he's a top 5 tight end in the league, and with his size, he's a matchup problem for most defenses. Then you have Davante Adams. You had Josh Jacobs. That lineup alone would terrify a lot of defenses across the league. I mean, how you feeling about the fact that it didn't work? Because you remember back when those decisions were made, the Chiefs were stacked, the Chargers stacked. They were talking about it was going to be a bloodbath in the AFC West, and then it went to a complete failure because they didn't even make the playoffs. Along with the Denver Broncos, they thought at that time all 4 teams was going to make the playoffs.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's.
Do you think the pieces didn't fit, or was it coaching, or what do you think it was?
It's coaching. It's coaching. When you got that many pieces and it's not working, okay. Sometimes the coaches have to look at themselves. And you got one of the I'm gonna say the best within the top 5 tight end. You got a slot wide receiver, okay? Now you got your threat on the outside, okay? You have a pretty decent, more than decent offensive line, because Josh Jacobs had 1,700 scrimmage yards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the pieces is there, okay? To me, it's the coaching. I mean, Josh McDaniels is, to me, he's a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good head coach.
And it's his second rodeo. He was
Yes.
head coach at Denver, and you thought he would be better. And you're right. A lot of the pieces that you have in place is no reason why at least that team shouldn't have been a playoff team.
Absolutely.
So now Waller's gone.
Yep.
Jacobs, he's there. He's dealing with some injuries. A lot of that probably attribute to him holding out. And, I think he got a raw end of the deal, like most running backs. They don't value these guys where they want to give them big contracts anymore. And I think that's why Jacobs ended up getting off to a slow start. So what do you think about Davante Adams? Do you think he's going to demand to get out of there, or?
I think Davante Adams is probably going to leave at the end of the season. I think he's going to stay for the full season.
Okay.
I really don't think that they're going to convince him to stay at least to the end of the season, and then he'll make a decision. But like I said, it has to be better. It has to get better, because you got Jacoby Myers, which is he's a very good wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? You have the tools. It's no way that they should be losing the way they are. And Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to get it going.
Yeah.
I think I think he's going to get it going because when you miss the whole preseason, okay, you're not used to them guys. Now
Yeah, you
you
used to
may
taking the
have,
hits,
huh?
not used to taking the hits and
Right.
everything. You got to get your body back into football shape again.
Exactly. You gotta familiarize yourself with the running lanes, how the guys are blocking now, which way the guys are blocking. I think he's gonna get on track. It's only been 3 games. You know what I'm saying?
Y- Yeah, I think Adams going to want out at the same time too because I don't think they're going to they're going to fire Josh McDaniels. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. So, and Devontae has been a great player in this league a long time. He's not he still have about 3-4 good years in him, but at the same time he's not a spring chicken anymore. And this is a guy that's used to going to NFC title games. This is a guy that's all pro every year. He wants to win, and he's not used to this, and that's where that frustration is coming from. So, hey, look, if Josh McDaniels going to start over and start rebuilding and things of that nature, then might as well start thinking about what you can get back for Devontae Adams now instead of you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to rebuild, go ahead and do it. I mean, clearly he's frustrated because this is his second time speaking out. He spoke out on last year, and they talked to him and calmed him down a little bit, and he wanted to wait and just see how they were going to do and what direction they were going to go, and apparently he's still not happy. So let me tell you, what you think it's going to take to bring the Raiders back to a place where they're respected amongst one of the elite teams with the historical background and the history that they have?
All due respect, fire the defensive coordinator, get another defensive coordinator in there, and open up that offense. Open up the offense. Let them let your $125 million wide receiver run wild. Let him run wild. I mean, you look at Miami. Them boys is almost unstoppable.
Yeah, and their defense is not that great at all, but
Not,
the offense put so much pressure on the defense. Those
yes,
guys are like all world-class sprinters that all run like a 4.2, and when they get in open space, ain't nobody catching them,
yes.
So their
And
offense is their defense.
right, and you look at Devontae Adams. Not only is this man a threat and wide receiver, he is a route runner.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
a lot of wide receivers are not route runners.
Right.
You know what
He's
I'm
one of the
saying?
great ones. He's definitely one of the
Yeah.
great ones. Yeah.
And you gotta, I mean, I'm not saying that he don't, last game he got like 150 yards receiving. All right. And he's still not happy.
Yeah, I don't think
So
Devontae
that
really care about so much the
right.
statistics now.
This,
He just
this
wants
is
to win.
yes, and this is what people have to look at. So I mean, you got some wide receivers. Oh man, I don't care. I got like 150 yards receiving, 1 touchdown or whatever, and they not complaining. But
Right.
they still losing. They not complaining.
Right.
This man, he's getting those stats, and he's still complaining.
Right.
He wants to
He
win,
wants to win.
and he see that the Raiders has the tools to win.
Right.
I mean, and people just don't. People are like, oh man, he getting paid, man. He still getting his yards or whatever. It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not about that. And if you was a true fan of any team, you would see that.
Right. Right.
You
Well,
know?
let me ask you. It's Raiders week, and you know how that is. From I mean, the Raiders and Chargers go back to the late '60s to early '70s in the AFL days before the NFL merger. They were like already rivals back then, and you get riled up. All the fans get riled up when it's Raiders week. The Raiders hate the Chargers. The Chargers hate the Raiders. There's fights going on in the stands. There's fights going on in the parking lots. and we don't want to win. I hate one of the teams that I hate to lose to is the Raiders, and I'm sure the Raiders hate to lose to the Chargers. So it goes deep. So now that it's Raiders week and the game is in a couple of days, does it feel the same to you? Like, is it the same? You know, because you're used to winning. The Chargers and Raiders have a history of winning, and maybe the Chargers haven't got the Super Bowl trophies. The last time they've been to a Super Bowl, they were blown out in 1994 by the San Francisco 49ers, but they always had great offenses. And so it was always a battle all the time when the Raiders and Chargers, Raiders and Chiefs, Chargers and Chiefs, when they played each other. So now that this cloud is over the Raiders now, and you feeling the way you feeling, that it's so much going on from upstairs to the coaching staff down to the players off the field. There's so much going on now. Does it feel the same now? This is a big game. I know I still get amped up for Raiders and Chargers matchup. Is it the same to you?
I get amped up every time we play a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
I get amped up.
Despite of what the record or what the state is, you still feel okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because my thing is, you know, if you can beat down everybody in your division and lose to everybody else on the outside, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Beat up everybody in your division. Let your division know that you not no pushover. Okay, let everybody know when you was coming to Los Angeles, when you was coming to Oakland, you was coming to Vegas or whatever, it ain't gonna be no easy win.
Well, you know, one of the things that got to change in order for it to get back to what you're talking about is a culture change. The culture has to change because, you know, winning is contagious. The Patriots know about it. The 49ers know about it. The Steelers know about it. But losing is also contagious. And if you get on that and you start losing, it starts showing. It starts showing when the frustration come out. Now guys don't really want to run routes anymore. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to win. So, all right. So listen. Give me your prediction on this weekend. Raiders and Chargers. Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers, SoFi Stadium, 4:30.
My prediction, and like I said, I'm a diehard Raider fan. I take the good with the bad. I see what they doing good and what they doing bad. And as I see with my team right now, 24-17 Chargers.
Wow. I have to give you a lot of respect for that because I've interviewed several people, and people, you know, they just like politicians. If you're a Republican, I don't care how the candidate is, I got to go with the party. If you're Democrat, I got to go with the party. But that's respect right there, you know.
And I'm gonna tell you the reason. All right. Number one, we're not gonna have our quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think Garoppolo
he's still in concussion protocol. Okay. And number two, they just not playing up to par. I seen it against Buffalo. I seen it against Pittsburgh.
Denver.
And even though they won, but I seen it against Denver. I mean, I'm like I said, I would never ever switch my team. My team is Raiders. I'm a Raider Nation. Just win, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just win, baby. But that just win is not coming as easy as me saying it.
Right. I understand.
You know?
And there's some firepower on in Los Angeles. They have some firepower too. Justin Herbert is on one of those tears again. So I mean,
and that's what I feel when the Raiders went out to try to get a new quarterback, you didn't upgrade. That's number one. Where everybody else upgraded, well, you know, Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Okay. Herbert, look, every year this man gets better. Every year. Then Denver goes out and get Russell Wilson. Granted, he didn't have a good year last year, but he's not doing
and I got off to a good start this year either.
Right. But he's doing, to me, he's doing way better than he did last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that ain't saying a lot, considering that they don't have no wins yet. But he is, from a mechanical standpoint, he does look a little bit better than last year.
Right.
I get it.
And Galafio, he's not a bad quarterback. To me, he just wasn't an upgrade from Derek Carr. You know, now
Right.
if to me, if the Raiders, if you want to start over, start that rookie.
Right.
Start that rookie. He's not a half bad kid, yo, for real. Let that man, let him grow. All right, and you want to mold somebody, to teach somebody your offense, that's the dude to do it with.
I think Garoppolo is the key to keeping Adams there at least till the season is over. Because if you go to the rookie, then he's gonna be like, okay, I've seen enough. I gotta go. So I think Garoppolo is the thing that they're using to keep him there, because he's made it clear he's tired of losing. He don't like the direction. So if you go with the rookie, I think then he'll say, you know what, get me out of here. I'm not going to show up anymore. Get me out.
I don't think Adams is going to stay anyway. If you come out twice so far and complaining, to me, he already made up his mind. You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah.
I think, but I do think he's going to stay until the end of the year. But at the end of the year, they're going to be forced to move him, because he's not going to want to play with the Raiders no more.
Right. Well, look, man, it was good. This was a great interview. It's good talking to you, talking football. I usually always tell everybody when I interview them, good luck, because they're not playing us. But because I wish you guys luck, but just not Sunday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, look, good talking to you, man, and thanks for the interview. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, Taylor, back to you.